Well, U.S. oil prices have plunged to lows we haven't seen in more than 2 decades. And there's also a new pyramid scheme popping up on social media, asking people to give $100 in the hopes of them getting $800. So here to break this all down for us, financial advisor Steve Budin joining us live with details on both of these stories. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today with our Financial Focus segment.
You're very welcome.
All right, so let's get started with the oil prices. So we've kind of seen a trend so far, but again, this is the lowest we've seen in a very long time. So what's going on and how long is this going to last?
Well, interestingly enough, 30 million barrels a day of oil are not being used that were before. So the world is basically swimming in oil, so the prices are dropping. Now, we should begin and we will continue to see lower gas prices. The problem is the gas stations haven't been selling as much gas, so they haven't been refilling as quickly. But as they refill, we should see prices drop.
All right. Well, let's get over to the scams, because I know that I saw some of these I've seen a ton of these popping up, but this one in particular popped up over the weekend, and it's asking people to, give $100 to get $800. So what is this? Why is it popping up? And why are scammers just bombarding people right now?
Yeah, it's sad. In a tough economy, these pyramid schemes come out of the woodworks promising fast money for no risk. Well, no such thing exists. And first and foremost, they are illegal. So if you do get involved in one of these things to try to recruit somebody, you can be held accountable. So the pyramid scheme basically says if you put in $100, you can then recruit 8 more people who each put in $100, and then you can cash out $800. The problem is the laws of math catch up at some point and you run out of people.
Well, I feel like this is one of those things where, like you mentioned, a lot of people are getting hit with this because right now they're kind of vulnerable. So what are some ways that people can protect themselves?
Now, it is important to realize that a lot of successful companies do operate in what's called a multi-level marketing format. And these are legitimate companies that sell legitimate products or services. So if you do get pitched with one of these things, you can do a couple of things. You can check on the Federal Trade Commission website or the Better Business Bureau to make sure that the company that you're being asked to join is legit and selling a legitimate product. And most importantly, don't lay out a lot of money. A lot of these legitimate companies only require you to sign up with a subscription fee, and then you can buy some product later. But do your homework, because there are many good companies out there.
All right, before we run out of time, I know you mentioned on the phone earlier before we got here, you wanted to show something to us?
Yeah, a client of mine got one of these too as far as scams go. Just be careful if you get an email or a fax that you have a long-lost relative in England somewhere that just passed away and you're due to inherit $10 million, but all you have to do is submit a $10,000 retainer to get the money. Chances are you don't have a long-lost relative in Europe someplace that died and left you $10 million. So just be careful for those too.
Oh my gosh, Steve, thank you so much. There's so much to keep an eye on nowadays. We appreciate your help. All right, and we will be right back.